Guys, today is Wednesday, March 25th, and as you may have noticed, it's gotten a little chillier. Is this cold air going to stick around? Stay tuned to find out.
It's Wednesday night on ISU TV. Broadcasting live from Ames, Iowa, this is Si's Eyes on the Skies. ISU TV's longest-running television show brings you the weather around the country, in Iowa, Ames, and beyond. The Iowa State Meteorology Department's team of forecasters keeps you ahead of the next weather system. Si's Eyes on the Skies starts now.
Welcome back to Si's Eyes on the Skies. I'm joined here by Matt Hoffman, so it was pretty cold today.
It was cold today, but we did see the sun later in the day, so that was, a marked improvement from the last couple days where we saw that rain. I mean, I'm sure you were out in it for some classes.
Yeah, I actually, over spring break, I got a really bad sunburn on my leg, and I had to wear shorts because it made it itch really bad if I wore pants. So
it's definitely not short weather. That was interesting. Yeah, it's definitely not short weather out there.
Slightly chilly.
And then there's talk of snow in the forecast.
Yeah.
So it's not quite. It's spring, but it sure doesn't feel like it this week so far. So
winter's I'm still here.
I know. Hopefully next week we can kind of bust out of this and see those 70s that I believe over break they saw around Ames, some 70s. So that's nice. Golfing weather, being out anywhere.
Yeah.
So hopefully that can happen. And we're also talking today about flooding down in Georgia in the deep south, issues there, and we had a ton of snow out to the west in the Dakota region. They saw a big blizzard event.
I know. My mom said yesterday, she sent me a text message yesterday and was like, we're in a flood or a tornado watch and a blizzard watch all at the same time.
Yeah, it was crazy weather here on Monday. I mean, there was talk of chasing, which I think we referred to on the Monday show, but it was quite a big weather event. You had, the summer-like weather with the tornadoes, and you also had the big blizzard in the Dakotas.
Oh, so we'll take it over to the weather desk with Rachael Witter. So
the weather that we're seeing now, it's going to stay a little bit consistent for the rest of the week. No significant rain like we saw Monday, which is good because no one really likes the rain. You could tell that everyone was a little bit dreary, and so we're going to see a chance of snow this weekend, which is interesting, but we're still in that transition period where really we could see anything. I mean, it is March, nearing April, so spring is on its way, but we're still in that weird period where we could see 70s one week and snow the next week. So really the temperatures we've been seeing today and tomorrow are actually normal, which is kind of odd because we're so used to those 60s that we saw last week. So pretty interesting weather this week, from chances of chasing early this week and snow this weekend. And we're going to take a look at the day planner. Some clouds will roll in tonight, and so enjoy that sun while you can, and it'll be 41 degrees at 9 p.m. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., 37 degrees, not horrible, but don't wear your flip-flops. I wouldn't recommend it. And by 3 p.m., it should be around 47. We'll see some peaks of sunshine, so not a bad day and pretty typical for this time of year. So enjoy it while you can.
that's good.
Yeah, no snow yet, so
yeah,
just prepare for it.
That's always good. Anyway, I think we're going to take it to a break now, so stay tuned for more Si's Eyes on the Skies after this. Welcome back to Si's Eyes on the Skies. So we're going to send it straight over to the wall with Matt Hoffman for weather news.
All right, thanks, Liz. We're going to talk about what's going on in the deep south mostly here. We have a situation where we have a pretty big frontal system out there, the one that affected us earlier in the week, and that's what's causing a lot of rain for parts of Georgia into the southern Carolinas and back into Louisiana. We're seeing flood watches and flood warnings actually in this area, and some of them are flash flood watches as well. So definitely a big situation here. Here you can see flooding for most of the area. They could see, you know, several inches of water in this area over the next couple days, as this front will eventually kind of stall out here as we head over the next couple of days. Further to the north, though, they're dealing with still some snow up in the Dakotas and Minnesota, and also there's another system moving on into the west that Nick will talk about in a bit. But let's go to radar right now, and we're going to take a look at actually the rain that's in Alabama right now. You can see it's just south of Birmingham right now, especially over the Clanton area and also north of Montgomery. You can see very heavy rain amounts right here, definitely coming down out there. Around Clanton, also just north of Rockford, and then down south into Montgomery. You can see some moderate rain, even some heavier spots here. You can see a little bit of a storm here just south of Selma, moving to the north. So all this progressing off to the north and the east, and it'll affect eventually into the Carolinas and along the eastern seaboard as we head over the next couple days. So definitely going to have to watch the flooding concerns in the south. Now let's take a look, let's go back and we'll take a look at what's going to be going on in these areas. Rome, Georgia is our first 7-5 day. You can see storms are going to be present through Saturday with temperatures hovering around the 70-degree mark, lows in the 50s. But as we head into Sunday, it's actually going to clear out. We're going to start to see clouds earlier on Sunday, but they will clear out, a high of 65, and warm back up nicely on Monday when we see the sun about 71 degrees, a low on Sunday of about 39. As we head out to the west, though, we have Amarillo, Texas. They are going to see this new system moving their way, and it's going to have windy conditions on Thursday, mostly cloudy, but as we roll into Thursday evening, we're going to first see some rain, but it's going to change over to snow, and after that changes over, as we head into Friday with a high of 29, we're going to see some pretty heavy snow, for several inches could happen around northern Texas and north up into Oklahoma and Kansas. You can see, look at that difference from Thursday to Friday, 67 to 29. That's a pretty drastic difference there. And as we head into Saturday and Sunday, we're going to warm up nicely, though, with that sun coming back out. It is spring after all, and you can see 66 by Sunday, and as we go on into Monday, you can see 64. Lows right around 32, right around freezing, but they will continue to warm up as they head into next week. So now we're going to take it back to Liz.
Thanks, Matt Hoffman. I guess next we'll take a look at the trivia question. And as I don't know if many people know this or not, but Mount Redoubt, which is located just across the bay from Anchorage, Alaska, actually erupted on Sunday night. Or I think it was Sunday night into Monday morning. And so keeping in mind the recent eruption of Mount Redoubt, when was the last time it erupted? And your choices are A, 1912, B, 1975, C, 1990, or D, 2000. So there's been a lot of issues about that causing some interesting weather up in Anchorage. So we'll have to keep an eye on that to see how that plays out over the next couple weeks. Because I know we've been talking about, in some of my meteorology classes, we've been talking about how volcanoes can affect the weather. And on that note, we'll send it over to Nick Krauel for national weather.
We're going to look across the entire nation tonight, looking at the national weather. And here we go. All right, we're going to start off over here on the East Coast. And what we're looking at here is this giant high pressure system. And that's dominating and staying pretty much all along the eastern seaboard, with this cold front coming in behind it off this low pressure system, which is way up in Canada right now, dragging down this cold front and putting a lot of precipitation down in kind of this mountain area. And you can see pretty cold temperatures across the east, 54s and 40s pretty much throughout the entire eastern seaboard through New York, Pittsburgh, and even Washington, D.C. We're going to move over to the Midwest, where you can see what really happened once this low pressure, or once this cold front came through. There you can see that blizzard, which is going on up in North Dakota and even into Minnesota, right around, that's getting wrapped around this low pressure system. But it's mostly cloudy throughout the entire Midwest due to this cold front and this other low pressure system that came through right behind me now. Over to this, the temperatures have been pretty cold up to the north due to this snow event that's happening, and then this trough has come through, bringing cold temperatures throughout most of the northern western area. But it's still pretty nice down by Kansas City, St. Louis, and even down in Oklahoma and Texas. Now we're going to go down south and see where this cold front's just kind of ending down here into Louisiana, just dumping more precipitation down the south. Not too much interesting, but as you can see, those showers we were talking about earlier, Matt was talking about in Alabama. But the temperatures are still pretty nice. New Orleans is 78, Florida, Orlando's in the 80s, and most of the eastern seaboard is still in the 60s and 70s, which I would take over our temperatures here. Over on the western coast now is what we have is this giant band of precipitation, this giant group over the Rocky Mountains in that area. Once this cold front came through, it dropped the temperatures a lot and created a lot of precipitation. But it's still pretty nice down in the southwest, mostly cloudy skies, but nothing too much to complain about there as of now. As you can see, the temperatures are not too bad, 60s and 70s down in the southwest, with 40s and 30s up to the north. And now we're going to look at the current radar reflectivity. You can see a lot of interest down here into Alabama and Mississippi. Also over in Texas and Arkansas and Louisiana, there's this band through right where that cold front was kind of sitting. And here's our forecast jet stream. What you can see here is that giant trough that's sitting over most of the Midwest, which is bringing us our cold temperatures. It's having a lot to do with the low pressure system, that cold front that's sitting out over here, and really bringing down the temperatures quite a bit. As you can see and put this into motion, you can see that the trough stays in our area for most of a extended period, which is going to keep our temperatures pretty low, and most of that cold, any precipitation that we get will be snow. Here you can see that giant band of precipitation out over most of the east, with some higher amounts of precipitation down into the south. As we put this into motion, you'll see it kind of tracks off into the east, kind of clears out of our area, but then what we have to watch is this low pressure system, which is going to fire up more precipitation, which could lead to snow and rain coming into the weekend. The 6 to 10 day temperatures are mainly below average down to the west through the Rockies, but they are pretty warm in Arizona, which is nice. But it's always nice in Arizona, so 6 to 10 day precipitation is going to be above average up to the north because of those bands that are coming through, going to dump a lot of precipitation down there, but it's still pretty dry down in the southwest. And I'm going to take it back to, Liz.
Thanks, Nick. I think we're going to send it to a break now, so stay tuned after the break for the trivia answer and your local weather. Welcome back to Size Eyes on the Skies. First, we're going to take a look at the trivia answer. So, to refresh your memory, keeping in mind the recent eruption of Mount Redoubt in Anchorage, Alaska, when was the last time it erupted? And the answer is actually C, 1990. So there's been a fairly recent eruption from this volcano, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens. But for now, we're going to take it to Rachael Witter with our local weather.
All right, thanks a lot, Liz. And no volcanoes to speak of in Iowa, just consistent weather that we've been seeing. We'll take a look at the conditions right now. 49 degrees, and that wind's keeping us a little bit cooler than 49 degrees. It feels like 20 miles per hour, so pull your hair back or put on a hat because hold on to your wigs and keys, as Tyler Roney would say. But that wind's going to die down, so don't get too used to it. And we'll take a look at our temperatures around the area. And as you can see, we got 50 degrees in Ankeny and 46 up in Fort Dodge and 50 in Creston. So consistent around the area, not too much to talk about. We'll look at the entire state. And as you can see, 51 degrees in Des Moines, a little bit warmer at Council Bluffs at 54 degrees. And as you can see, a little bit cooler behind me at 38 degrees. And we're going to look at our low temperatures today. As you can see, 34 degrees in Des Moines and 32 degrees in Storm Lake. So we got either near freezing or even below freezing, which it was definitely a chilly morning if you were walking out to class early this morning. And our high temperatures today, as you can see, 54 in Council Bluffs and 36 degrees up in Mason City, so a little bit cooler up there, but you know, we're used to this transition weather, so not a big shocker. And our current surface. It's cooler than what we've been seeing, and it's definitely breezy. If you were out today, you can notice the wind whipping around a little bit. But clearing skies now. We saw peaks of the sun this afternoon, and right now we're actually seeing sun and a few clouds up to the northwest corner, but really not a bad day. Besides, the wind was a little bit of a menace. And our forecast service map, as you can tell, was a little bit cooler than what we've been seeing, and that cool's going to flip around and keep sticking around, and overcast, a little bit dreary, and it's going to be windy, but that's going to kick right out of here. The winds are going to die down, and we're not going to have to deal with those winds as much as we have been the past few days, so nothing to worry about there. And we're going to look at our forecast, rain and clouds, and this could be actually an interesting weekend for precipitation as far as that goes. As you can see, the clouds are going to roll out, but then they're going to come back in, and that blue area over there, that is rain and snow, so we're going to see a little bit of that, and that could be a little bit interesting. As you can see, higher amounts down in the southwest corner, and that's a little bit interesting, but this weekend's going to be a little bit weird as far as precipitation goes, and that'll kick through. But tonight, partly cloudy. You'll see the sun before it sets because it's setting a lot later now, and winds out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and it's going to be 33, so above freezing, not too bad, but you're going to want to put on a jacket because it's not going to be like we saw last week at all. And into tomorrow, we're looking at mostly cloudy, some peaks of sunshine towards the afternoon, a little bit in the morning, and 49 degrees. So really not a bad day, and those winds aren't going to be like we saw today, 20 miles per hour or more than that. They're going to be out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, so really not a bad day at all. Nothing to complain about too far. But as we look into the weekend, that could be a little bit interesting. As you can see, tomorrow 49 degrees and 39 degrees. That is snow that you're seeing. And into Saturday, we could see a little bit of snow, but not as much as we first anticipated. That's going to stay to the south, but we could see a few flurries in and out this weekend. So that'll be interesting, but it looks like it's going to warm up to 55 on Monday. So nothing really to complain about.
Yeah, let's just get past this week.
Right, yeah. Yeah, once this weekend gets through, like, it's officially spring now, but we're still in that weird early part of spring that's, you know, really anything can happen. So we're going to see that snow this weekend, but 55, that's nothing to complain about, especially when the sun's out. So yeah, it's really great.
And once that wind dies down, it should get really nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. The wind just makes it unbearable. Like, it's 49 degrees outside, but I needed a jacket, and not smart to wear flip-flops. Not a good day for that.
Not a good day at all.
Nope.
Now, Iowa, I believe, has this kind of thing where they have snow in March. It seems like people tie. Is that true?
Oh yeah, that's very true. Like my birthday's at the end of February, so we always get a storm or two right afterwards. So yeah, it always comes around one more time.
So I think we're going to wrap it up now. So stay tuned for next Monday for our next episode of Size Eyes on the Skies.